Hello, everyone listening. This is Charles Berman from The Most Important People in the World, or I will be from The Most Important People in the World when we start doing the podcast, which is coming up very soon. But I thought before we started posting actual episodes of the podcast, I would post some of these proto-episodes of the Bronze Age of Radio, where I did some interviews with the sort of people who are of the type that I think we'll be interviewing on The Most Important People of the World. It's sort of a way that I began the concept back then in the past on my radio show, The Bronze Age of Radio, WHRW, Binghamton, New York, and that I'm now going to be trying to transmute into podcast form. So this is an interview I did on the 14th of March, 2009, along with Apprentice Jackie on the radio station with Alex Chiu, the inventor of Immortality Rings and the Gorgeouspill. Immortality Rings are rings that make you immortal. The Gorgeouspill is a pill that makes you gorgeous. And Alex Chiu is still active. You can still find his website. He's still selling Immortality Rings and Gorgeous Pills at alexchiu.com. That's www.alexchiu.com. So I hope you enjoy this interview with Alex Chiu, and you stay tuned to the YouTube channel for more interesting interviews with the most important people in the world, either in their eyes or ours. The Bronze Age of Radio, starring Charles Berman as Chris, played by Charles Berman. WHRW's only program airing at this time on this radio station, featuring interviews with people with interesting viewpoints, old-time radio programs, and more. Taking you back to a time when radio's most advanced metalworking included techniques for smelting copper and tin from naturally occurring outcroppings of copper and tin ores, creating a bronze alloy by melting those metals together. And now, the Bronze Age of Radio. Welcome, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, to the Bronze Age of Radio. I am as I am every week, Chris, played by Charles Berman, and at the left side of me, I should say, this week is
Apprentice Jackie.
And we are going to be speaking this week with another of our interviews with interesting people. We have with us on the program this week Alex Chiu, the inventor of a number of fascinating products, one of which is, I think most famously, Immortality Rings. Alex Chiu, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for coming on the program with us, Alex.
Okay.
Now, you invented Immortality Rings. Maybe you can explain to us what the Immortality Ring does and how it works.
Well, basically, Immortality Rings are two rings that's made out of magnets. You put on your small fingers, and they stop aging.
They stop aging.
Right. You wear them at night during sleep.
Now, how does a magnetic metal ring stop the human aging process?
Well, the reason why people age, people constantly injure their body. Little injuries, they accumulate.
Uh-huh.
Also, toxins and cholesterol that jams your blood circulation in your veins.
Uh-huh.
So your body, the cells, they would slowly decay.
Uh-huh.
When the cells decay, they grow in size, and they become farther apart from each other.
Right.
And with these magnetic rings that you put on the small fingers, it pulls your body back together. Your body would, during the daytime, because of injury, cholesterol, toxin, it pulls your body apart.
Uh-huh.
But when you go to sleep, you put out these magnets on the small fingers, okay, and have to be on the correct polarity, north
Uh-huh.
on top and south at bottom of the left small finger, and then south on top and north at bottom of the left small finger. When you do it correctly, it pulls your entire body together. So basically, you cannot age.
And you stay exactly the same age you were when you first started using the rings, and you never die.
Right.
Now, wearing an immortality ring, if, for instance, if somebody shot you in the head or something, you'd still die of that, though, right?
aging. That's all it does. It's
Right.
not. It's not miraculous. It's not magic.
Now, how did you discover the Immortality Ring?
When I was 19, I was not very healthy. But I see that my hair started falling out. I started having wrinkle, and people say I look like I'm 26 or 27 when I'm 19.
Uh-huh.
And then my friend told me that he came back from China, and doctor cured his nearsightedness using magnets placed on his ears. That got me interested in playing with magnets.
Uh-huh.
So I experimented with magnets for 1 year and a half. I put magnets over the body until one day I found out that when you put a North Pole on the small finger and North Pole on the left finger, on the left small finger, I actually got sick. I couldn't climb the stairs. I felt tired doing everything. I just felt like, I don't know, it's a horrible feeling. Very dreadful, very horrible feeling.
Uh-huh.
Then I realized, hey, maybe if I switch one side of the one finger's magnet to north and leaving the other one south, that might help a little. So I did that, and I felt explosions throughout the body. I don't know what that meant. And then what I did is I added another piece of magnet at bottom of both fingers. Then I felt tremendous amount of healing. The moment I arranged it that way, I know that this is something special. I know this is physical immortality because basically all your old injuries are being healed up. So if injuries are being healed up, how can a person die? How can a person age or die?
That's true. Now, you say you felt explosions and you felt healing immediately. What did that feel like, explosions and feeling healing?
No, that's without the bottom piece.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of strange. If I put north on top of the right small finger and south on top of the left small finger, I felt explosions throughout the body. It's not a healing. It's just I felt parts are going to explode. I mean, I only did that one day. You have to add magnets at bottom of the finger too. So basically, if north on top, the south is at bottom, and then the other finger is south on top, north is at bottom. Then you would feel tremendous amount of heat.
So if you reverse them, does that actually cause you to age faster? Does that cause you to die quicker?
The explosion?
Yeah, if you basically put a north and south on the wrong fingers, does that have the opposite effect and cause you to age faster and push the cells apart?
I think so. If you put north on top of one finger and north on top of also another finger, that would retardate the magnetic flux of the body, and that it might cause you to age faster.
I see. Now, has anyone wearing an immortality ring so far ever died? Has it ever failed?
I don't know. I think so. Some you still could die from accidents or die from disease and stuff like that.
But it's really hard to prove, isn't it? Because it's only been a few years since it was discovered. It hasn't been hundreds of years.
When people put it on, their wrinkles disappear, their hair grows back, they look younger and younger. You don't have to measure the circumference of the entire Earth or measure the circumference of the Moon just by walking all around the Moon or walking around the Earth. I mean,
That's true.
There are scientific ways to measure the circumference, or even weigh how much does the entire Earth weigh, or how heavy is the Moon. You don't have to take the Moon and put it on a big, huge wave. There are scientific ways to measure certain things. And in this instance, you basically users, if your hair would turn white to black, hair would change color, wrinkles disappear, younger and younger, and that's a way of measuring it.
Uh-huh.
You don't have to wait until like 200-300 years later to see if you die. You don't have to do that.
That's true. And can anyone at home make an immortality ring the way you did it?
I'm sorry?
Can anyone at home make an immortality ring the way you did it?
Yeah, certainly. They just go to my website, liveforevernell.com, and I have instructions on how to make it themselves.
Now, why do you suppose that immortality rings aren't more famous in the scientific community and around the world? Why haven't scientists picked this up as a great advance?
Most people don't believe it. And by the way, if I dare to sell this stuff on TV and tell people that this will make people live forever, the FTC is going to come down on me so hard. For example, like the Chiu Ray bracelet. I believe that stuff works because lots of people say it works. It's very popular with golfers. It takes away pain and all that stuff. But
how does the bracelet work?
All these people who dare to go on TV to say things, they got fined millions of dollars. Kevin Trudeau, the Q Ray people, and they go out there and they lost money. They actually didn't earn money. They lost money.
So basically, you haven't been able to go on television and promote something like this to the world at large because people would just be unbelieving because it was such a great discovery.
I think people would believe it. It's just that government is very close-minded to these things. You can't go on TV and say these things. You go on TV and say these things, you're asking for trouble. They'll give you a fine so hefty that you lose your business. Just like Q-Ray or Kevin Trudeau, just like what I mentioned, and some other these health products or dietary products. They actually lost so much money. They earn money, but then later on they have to pay back because they got fined.
Now, what kind of implications do you think this has for the human race in the future? Because so much of human society has been about the fact that we know we're going to die. Now that we don't have to die with immortality rings, how do you think that will impact society?
Well, people will realize for the first time that the Bible is not a joke. See, back in those days, a lot of holy men, a lot of preachers, they try to explain this away. They try to explain the Bible. You go to them and they say, "Oh yeah, all you have to do is join this church and you believe in what I say. So after you die, you're going to receive immortality." Even if you ask a drunkard or a homeless person on the street, he could offer you immortality just like that. You could say the same thing. Oh, all you have to do is give me $1. Give me $10. I guarantee I'm a holy man, and I guarantee you, after you die, you're even immortality. Anybody can say that.
Mm-hmm.
And people treat the Bible like a joke, But right now, people shall realize after this invention that Bible prophecies actually do come true. This physical immortality promised in the Bible is not a joke after all. It really will come true.
So how many people do you know of that are wearing immortality rings and are now, except for if they get hit by a truck or something, are now immortal?
I don't know. I sold a lot. I didn't count how many people are wearing it. I don't know. And especially, I teach people how to build the rings themselves on my website. So I have no idea how many people are wearing it.
It could be thousands and thousands of people who are now immortal. It could be a new age of the human race. Now,
hopefully.
You also have on your site something called the Gorgeouspill.
Yes.
Could you explain a little bit about what the Gorgeouspill does and how it works?
Well, Gorgeouspill, it's an addition to the Immortality Rings that I invented. What happened is about 4 years ago, I started going to strip clubs. And then I fell in love with a stripper. Since I'm an Asian person, Asian, we're not as pretty as white people. So this white girl, she never liked me. She always shunned away from me. So I was thinking, how am I supposed to make myself pretty? I gotta, because I really like this girl a lot. So what I did is I remember that if I take ginseng and garlic before I put on the rings and lie down and do the healing, I felt, that the healing was a little faster. It heals the body up a little faster. So I started working on this project, different blends of herbal formula that can increase the healing of the immortality rings by a lot, by maybe 10 times, 20 times more. And then I came up with this formula called Gorgeouspill. So every time you, before you lie down to put on the rings and do the healing, you take the Gorgeouspill. It heals your body up tremendously. So every time you use the Gorgeouspill, you look prettier. You wake up, you look in the mirror, you're prettier. You know, some part of your face has been improved. Some part of the body become more superior. See, the reason, the prettier a person is, the more superior the person's body is.
So this actually makes
Ugliness
people
represents the disturbance in your body. There's a certain disturbance in the force. And when you have disturbance, you're either unlucky or there's certain part of the body does not function correctly, or it's just that a certain part of your body has poor circulation. Therefore, you see a little bit of ugliness here and there. Everybody has ugliness. Okay? Some people, their eyes are too small, or nose are too big, too fat, or too thin. Those are considered ugliness. But once you take Gorgeouspill and put on the Immortality Rings and lie down and do the healing, it erases your ugliness little by little. So basically, every time you do the healing, you become a little prettier.
So is it safe to say
2
that
to 3 years down the road, you become very, very pretty or handsome.
So is it safe to say you're a very attractive person?
I'm sorry?
I said, is it safe to say you're an attractive person then?
I look okay.
But you've only been taking the Gorgeouspill so long, and eventually you become... Anyone who takes the Gorgeouspill becomes incredibly gorgeous, right?
Yeah. Theoretically speaking, you should. If people go to my website and they can see how I used to look like before I took this pill. They Oh, I'm sorry, did somebody say something?
No, go on.
Yeah, I have been interviewed by Martin Sargent's. They used to have a Tech TV Unscrewed. They interviewed me. Martin Sargent, they interviewed me on Tech TV 4 or 5 years ago. I also shot YouTube video of myself just very recently. And I was also on the Daily Show, the Comedy Central Daily Show, like maybe 10 years ago. People can go to my website and compare how I look 10 years ago and compare to how I look right now.
And see how the Gorgeouspill has been working on you.
Oh, yeah.
So how do you think it actually works? With the Immortality Rings bringing your cells together, how do the herbs in the Gorgeouspill accelerate the magnetism?
The herbs that I use irritates your cells. The point is to kill the weakest link, just like chemotherapy. If you have cancer, they use chemotherapy to kill the weakest link, to kill off all the cancer cells. And of course, it doesn't just kill cancer cells; it also kill some healthy cells. But the point is to kill off the weakest link, so that the weakest link would leave your body, and the healthy cells they may reproduce. And my herbal formula in the rings, it does the same. It basically, the herbal formula stimulates your cells. It allows your cells to squeeze out the weakest link and just let the healthier cells regrow.
So how has the Immortality Ring plus the use of Gorgeouspill affected you personally using these? How have you felt the effects in your life?
It's very good. You every time you look in a mirror, you look a little better. So it also, I think it's also it's very soothing. It's very comforting. It takes away your stress, because every time you see yourself, you look a little better. You feel better. You feel better about life. You think that future is bright. You know?
Has this woman that you've fallen in love with, has she responded since you've taken this pill?
Oh yeah.
Wow. So this is. Go on.
What happened is she quit her job and she went to another club because she got married. She doesn't want to see me anymore.
Oh, well, nothing can do everything. But you also have a way, you say, which can cure disabilities, blindness, deafness, inability to speak.
I'm working on it. I'm improving the Gorgeouspill formula every day. I'm doing tests on it. And hopefully one day it will be so fast that people, blind people, deaf people, they just have to take the formula for a few months and they be cured. the idea is you constantly heal the body. That at the end it just erases all the ugliness and all the little injuries and handicaps in the body. You become perfect.
Now, I have a question. If enough people start to discover what immortality rings can do and start to use them, clearly, if enough people become immortal, there will be a great problem with overpopulation because people won't be dying, but new people will continue to be born.
Well, you have to think of it this way. If you stay young forever, for example, you look like you're 21 or 22 forever. 300 years later, 400 years later, you still look like you're 21 or 22. I believe a large portion of these immortal people will decide not to have kids because they are kids themselves. If I'm 21 or 22, and if I look like I'm 21 or 22, and I feel like I'm 22, but I'm 400 years old, I mean, there is no need for me to have kids, right? So it might convince some people to stop having kids, to not have kids. It might actually slow down the growth of population because a lot of these nowadays people, they feel that I'm approaching 30, especially women. They feel I'm approaching 35. I gotta have a child. Well, I can never produce a child because after 35 I cannot have my own children. This might change their mind. They could be 300, 400-year-old and they still can have children. So it might actually change a lot of people's minds.
True. Now you also have there are a lot of things that you've discovered in various areas. You've also discovered software which can decode the Bible codes in the Bible.
No, that's not my invention. No,
okay.
I'm just saying that if it's on my website, there are lots of people selling this stuff.
Okay. And in your website, though, there are a lot of things which tie in to the Immortality Rings and the Gorgeouspill, etc. What other kinds of health advances have you made that can benefit the human race?
I'm sorry, say that again?
What other kinds of health advances and scientific advances have you made, along with Gorgeouspill and Immortality Rings?
That's about it.
Okay. But you also have a plan for world peace, though, and uniting the entire world. Oh,
yeah. It's called the World Corporation Plan. Basically, I believe that, because I had dreams, I had lots of dreams before, and they all state that there's going to be a World War III in the future.
Uh-huh.
And since there's going to be World War III, I believe that maybe the world can be convinced to incorporate into corporations, so that our armies are owned by this giant corporation, and it will just swap army around, and it becomes so basically it's like a corporation take over the world, and it's like an insurance company. The countries they just join this insurance company, and they will be protected from I don't know, rebels, from for example, a leader being overthrown by the citizens. It's very complicated. People have to go to my website.
Okay.
And read that.
Okay. And your website, by the way, for people who are interested, is just alexchiu.com?
Yeah, or people could try liveforevernow.com.
Okay. Now, you also, what I was getting at before is there's something called the Super Chi Flush.
That's the addition to Gorgeouspill.
Okay.
It's really the same formula. I mean, it's really actually if people take the Gorgeouspill, they have to take the Chi Flush. It's really the same thing. They have to buy it together. It's just that it's like a second part to it.
Okay, so together, they are what really make you more gorgeous every day.
Right.
And is that for all areas of someone being ugly, including just maybe bad skin or a big nose or whatever it is?
Right. Basically, it's designed to erase all ugliness of the body.
Uh-huh.
So any part of the body that you consider ugly, it should slowly alter it.
Mm-hmm. And you have some photos up on the website, so clearly there's evidence up there that this works.
Yes.
Do you think that this hasn't been picked up by mainstream scientists for the same reason as the Immortality Rings, that they just wouldn't believe it?
Yeah, a lot of people say it's a scam, but lots of people think that I'm a scam, but it's difficult. You can't go on TV. You can't say these things because the FTC is going to come down on you so hard.
But these are just things that you discovered on your own and are bringing forward to the public.
I'm sorry?
They're just things that you discovered on your own and you're bringing forward to the public to benefit humanity, though, right?
Right.
Now, on your website, there are a number of things, but there's also, you have a new site out, which is called Jesus is Fiction.
Oh, JesusIsFiction.com?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, what happened is I buy lots of domains and see, if these domains will bring in some traffic. That's just the gig.
Okay. Now, I'll get into another thing that you have because there's a lot of facets of this, but you've also discovered something called Super I Ching.
Right.
Now, does that work along the same lines of the visions that you had of how to bring about a united world?
Oh no, I Ching is like, it's a Chinese oracle. People throw a coin on the ground.
Yeah.
And predict the future.
But how is it super?
Super I Ching, I just kind of describe it a little more. I did not invent that.
Okay.
I just added more. I just made it a little more complicated. So for English readers, that's all.
Oh, okay. Well, so that's good. So the truly most important element of this, though, would be the
WHRW.
Hello, are you still there?
Hello?
Yeah. The truly most important part of it would be the Immortality Rings and the Gorgeouspill.
Yeah, that's right.
So what kind of reactions have you had when you've gone on shows like this or on speaking to the public? Have people generally been favorable? Do most people believe it and want to try it themselves, or do most people think it's impossible?
All sorts of people. Some people they would just laugh at it. They would say it's a scam. Some people they are so appreciative. They come to my website. They call me up. They say, "Oh, thank you for inventing this. I'm so glad that I found you," and stuff like that. It all depends.
Mm-hmm. By the way, we should mention at the top of the hour that this is WHRW, Binghamton, New York. We're speaking with Alex Chiu, the inventor of Immortality Rings and the Gorgeouspill, which can cause people to become younger over time and eventually live forever. Is there a danger of people becoming too young, eventually going back to childhood?
No. It brings you back to your prime age, meaning the age of you looking the best, like you're 21 or 22.
Okay, so people will be at their prime, 21 and 22 forever. Do you think that it will cause any difficulties, that there won't be many new people being born once everyone is immortal and doesn't want to have children anymore?
Well, there certainly will be a problem if there are too many people on Earth. So you have to limit population control. I mean, you have to limit population one way or the other. So.
What do you think is the best way to do that? Is it just a rule that you can't have too many children now, or?
Yeah, maybe in the future, government need to offer licenses to competent couples, high income couples or something.
Mm-hmm.
Just like what they do right now in China. I mean, I think eventually in the United States we're gonna have a billion people or something, and some must be done, just like how they did in China.
So maybe only the richer people would be allowed to have children.
I'm sorry?
So maybe only richer people would be allowed to have children.
Well, I don't know. I'm not.
Right.
I'm not a politician, so.
Oh no, of course. Well, I think this is really, if it's valid, and there seems to be some definite some definite photographic evidence on your website of people getting younger over time and using the Gorgeouspill to become more gorgeous, then it's one of the biggest advances in the history of humanity.
Yeah.
Well, Alex Chiu, thank you very much for coming on the program with us on the Bronze Age of Radio.
Okay.
Is there any parting message you want to get across to our audience before we go?
Well, just visit the website, liveforevernow.com, and check it out for yourself.
All right, liveforevernow.com. Alex Chiu, inventor of the Immortality Ring and the Gorgeouspill. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, goodbye.
Bye-bye.
So we just spoke with Alex Chiu, inventor of the Gorgeouspill. If you have any comments on that, the number to call is 777-2137. What did you think of those claims?
That I'm gonna go buy some magnets and some multivitamins.
I thought it was interesting that magnets brought the cells together because cells are not metal.
No.
Maybe it's the iron content in foods, or
no.
No. I don't know how the Immortality Ring works. Then it must work. It's science.
Oh yeah.
But I think it's really quite spectacular that the Immortality Ring has caused humanity to now be a potentially immortal race. We no longer have to die. And I for one am going to go get magnets on my fingers immediately.
And as another, claim to fame, WHRW has found the one person who agrees with China's having children policy.
We actually have in the studio with us Tuesday night
the
at 3.
immortal one,
Madman
Mark.
So Madman, what did you think?
I was listening to an album by a band called, I don't know if I can actually say it on the air.
Bleep it.
Goblin. We'll say well, I don't know. Can you say that?
Let me take a
look.
look.
Can you say that word on the air?
Okay, fill in the blank. Imagine blank a doodle do.
Yes.
In the first part of that is what the second part of the band's name is.
A doom metal band that I was listening to.
Uh-huh.
So I may play it on my show.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, tune in Tuesday morning at 3 for Goblin Blankadoodle-Doo, or not, maybe.
Or not.
Okay.
Like the Shakespeare. To be or not to be.
Thanks, Madman. You're listening to WHRW. We're going to be back in a few moments after some vital announcements that we were told to play. So these urgently boring announcements are going to come on. You can use this portion of the program to use the bathroom, get a snack, turn off your hearing aid, whatever. And we'll be back shortly here on the Bronze Age of Radio.